The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Josh Lawmaster. I'm one of the co-founders and the chief financial officer of Perfect Golf Event, and I appreciate everybody taking some time to learn about how you can protect your events, especially from weather and more specifically rain. And I was going to give a little quick introduction here. We hope to get through things in 20 minutes or so, leave some time. I'll be watching as we go through the day here. And if you have any questions, we'll make sure and cover those at the end. But if you're not familiar with Perfect Golf Event, we're the leader in providing software and services to fundraising golf events and all kinds of golf events. And we're working with thousands of events every year. And we hope that you've learned about this webinar through us, but otherwise we'd be glad to meet you. But what I want to do is tell you how we ended up in this several year partnership with Vortex. Is we were looking for ways that the events that work with us could protect themselves from the risk of rain. And a lot of our events are, one time a year, and they don't have a lot of infrastructure in place, and needed a way to kind of quickly get some protection without going through, what can be a little bit more time intensive of setting up event cancellation insurance. And we found that the process to set that up and the process to make a claim is a little bit more tedious than a lot of our customers, wanted to deal with. So we learned about Vortex. They happen to have a regional office here in Northeast Florida, where we are, and learned how easy it is for to set up coverage through them to protect from rain, and then at the end just kind of automatically learn if there was a rain event and to get paid. So I don't want to steal Eric's thunder. I'm going to introduce here in a second, but that was why and how we've gotten into this multi-year partnership. So today you're going to see some things on the screen. Everything's being recorded. Shortly after we get off today, we'll send out an email with a recording and a copy of the presentation as a PDF. And of course, my contact information, Eric's contact information, if you have any questions that we didn't cover today. So with that quick introduction, Eric, why don't you take it away? And thanks everybody for being here.
Josh, thank you so much for the intro there. Welcome everyone. We have a large group this morning. This is webinar number 6 of the year. Glad to have everyone on from around the country. Wow, it's a big group. Very excited. Like Josh said, we couldn't be more proud than being in our 4th year of our partnership with Josh, his team, Perfect Golf Event, and we look forward to growing together for many years to come. Within the presentation, like Josh said, I'm going to keep it to 20 minutes, give you a brief overview. Then afterwards, I'd like to hear from you either through email. You can call me or text me. I'd like to price up your golf tournament. So whether you're a first-time user or learning how to run an event, or you've been doing this for 20 years, throughout the presentation, I'd like you to think about, 1, if you've ever had rain affect your event, or 2, if you do potentially have rain, how it's going to affect your expected revenue. And that's where we come in. So I'm going to go through the slides here. Hopefully we have your questions at the end, and we'll address all of them. And like Josh said, all my information will be at the end of the presentation. So we like to say, don't let bad weather slice into your club's bottom line. You can't predict the weather, but you can help protect your business from it. And there's a myth out there that insurance agencies don't know weather, and it turns out we are weather nerds. Our team has over 100 years of combined experience in the weather risk management industry, and we've been helping protect events since 2008 using data-driven policies that mitigate risk. A little bit about Vortex. We are a subsidiary of MSI Guaranteed Weather, which has been in the weather risk management industry for more than a quarter century. And since 2008, the Vortex weather insurance arm has specialized in insurance products for outdoor events such as fairs and festivals and concerts and lacrosse tournaments and racetracks, etc. And in 2019, Vortex started offering protection to golf properties, golf tournaments, whether you're trying to raise $5,000 for a very small charity, all the way up to the PGA and Champions Tour that are customers of ours. I'm asked this a lot: who's our paper or who backs us? Vortex's insurance carrier, it's Mitsui Sumitomo Insurance, and we are rated A+ best. Okay, here's a picture of me. I'm the National Director of Sales for golf and all products. I've been with Vortex since 2019. I've been in the weather derivative space for a very, very long time, but I was the broker for these guys for over 15 years. So I helped them trade their weather portfolio around the world. And then they asked me to run their golf division and now their entire sales division for Vortex. So I've been in the golf space a long time. I played professionally. I played in a lot of tournaments. I played in pro-ams. I've helped run tournaments. So I know the pain points, and I know how different things are run. So I can help you with those kinds of questions and educate you on why you should have our weather insurance in place for either full or partial amounts. I'll help you pick the right level so you're not underinsured and you're not overinsured, and we can work within the budget. Also, obviously, I worked where the Masters was, Augusta National, when I used to play. I was up there a couple of weeks ago. For all you golfers out there, it was a pretty amazing week. Okay, a myth: in the golf business, you can't fight Mother Nature. And we say not so fast. You can stand up to Mother Nature and help protect your revenue with Vortex. Across the country, savvy golf course operators and tournament organizers are using our rain insurance as a risk management hedge. Okay, and when you think about that word hedge or protection, you want to think about all the many ways, from your golf outings to multi-day outings to golf outings that run into lunches or evening galas where you're going to raise more money. We can do seasonal monthly hedges, longer periods, July 4th weekends if you're doing a firecracker tournament, member guests, etc. So I can help you all with that if you're looking beyond just your normal charity event. And then we like to say what's at risk when you're running all of these kinds of events and the play-related revenue. Okay, you basically, every tournament is run differently, and what you're trying to equate to is a certain number to raise for your event. Okay, and again, I can help understand the metrics of that and really find the sweet spot, okay, in the hours that make the most sense to have protection. So basically, we protect ultimately what you're trying to do, and that's raise a certain amount of money for your charity. Very important slide here. So rain insurance versus property and casualty. The chance of sustaining an adverse rain occurrence for a golf event is significantly greater compared to traditional P&C events, i.e. auto, accident, fire, etc. Here's the chance of potential insurance claim on a single day over a 20-year period. There's your car insurance and there's your home insurance, right? Very low, hopefully. So rain insurance versus P&C, as a comparison, here's the chance of 1/4 of an inch of rain falling on any single day. This is just between June and August. Okay, so some of you around the country here, it's going to rain in April and May. It's going to rain in September and October and November, and pretty heavily at times across some of the different months across the country. So it's a very important slide to understand that the percentage of rain really increases across the country just in those 3 months. Another myth that rain insurance is complex, and the good news is that we've simplified it for you. And this is how it works. Rain insurance is parametric. What does that word mean? That means that rain insurance is triggered simply if recorded rainfall at your location meets or exceeds the threshold listed in the policy during the coverage period. Okay, Proof of loss or event cancellation is not necessary for the policy to trigger and pay a claim. We provide you with the information, the rain accumulation in your expiration report. Okay, you don't need to prove to us that it was rained out or people left halfway through, etc. We'll show you the amounts in the window that you buy at your location and help you on the back end. We pride ourselves also with parametric transaction is that if there is a triggered event, you are typically paid in less than 2 weeks. So this is not like indemnity where if you have a problem with your roof and you're battling with an adjuster for 6, 9 months, a year out, and you're haggling over money. Okay, if your event has a certain amount of rain, it triggers your inch threshold, you're paid, and you can do whatever you want with that money that you're paid. It's that simple. Again, how does this work? Basically, Vortex uses WeatherWorks as our claim determination system. Again, I'm going to be sending you how the measurements and who we use and how it all works, all the way to a granular understanding. We provide hourly precipitation measurements as little as 0.01. We write policies as little as 1/10 of an inch of rain. And so getting in the different kinds of policy options, usually most of the events are shotgun coverage. For those of us on this call that understand shotguns, usually everybody goes out to a defined hole. Say it's a noon shotgun, you have 18 foursomes, sometimes the par 5s and par 3s have more than one group. You tee off at 12 and hopefully you're done at 4. Sometimes you're done at 5. Obviously, it depends on the pace of play. So we have shotgun coverage. If you buy an inch threshold in the shotgun coverage within those hours, say 4, 5, 6 hours, if you say you bought a 1/4 of an inch, it accumulates to that amount, you're paid. Extended hours, I'll help you understand this. So in that example, if there's a shotgun at 12, what happens if it rains from 9 to 12 and you only bought a policy from 12, okay, to say 5? You're not covered. So what I try to explain and educate our customers on is that if you add an hour or two, if there's a putting contest or if there's registration or people are kind of on the fence whether or not they're going to come, and you lose, say, 20% of your field because it's a crummy day or if it's starting to rain in the hours before, okay, you're going to lose all of the money, okay, in on-course raffles and maybe at the lunch or the silent auction afterwards. But if you bought the hours beforehand, those hours are totaled in the total aggregate of your time window. So yes, the premium goes up. I'd rather you shave an hour off the back end because everybody's there and add it to the front end. Again, when I price up your event, I'll show you how that works. And sometimes we can save money on the premium by shaving hours off the back end and adding 1 or 2 or a different kind of combination on the front end. The ladder coverage, I'll show you in an example how this works. This basically means that it's tiered insurance. The more that it rains, as it rains through different rain thresholds, the more that you're paid back. And we'll get to another slide to show you that. Okay, the different kinds of parametric options that affect the price. The hours, like we were just talking about, shorter amount, cheaper, longer amount, more expensive. But we can get creative on what makes sense just for your event. I priced an event for a woman, her shotgun was at 9. And she asked the question, Eric, what happens if it rains from 5 in the morning to 9, and then it's sunny? I said, you're not covered. So she ended up buying a policy from 3 in the morning just until 11 o'clock, because that means that she was covered while everyone was sleeping, and that everybody would play through at least 9 holes, because that was the language in the contract she had with the golf course. Again, you'll have to understand that. But I'll show you several different pricing quotes so you can see the difference in premium levels. The rain thresholds, the lower the rain threshold, the more expensive, the higher. 1 inch, which is a tailish event, it won't typically rain that amount. Some people want back-end protection. It's very inexpensive, but does it happen? Occasionally. Everybody's different. Every event's different. The limits can be varied by day. If you have multi-day events, if you're trying to raise $10,000, then you have a gala where you're going to raise another 25,000. We can change the limits. We can have 2 policies in a day. I'll help you understand the metrics and the math of your event, and then we can get to a certain threshold where it makes sense. Okay, the hourly data. The use of hourly data allows us to concentrate only on the hours when rainfall could negatively impact business operations. I was just touching on that. Eliminating hours, pushing and pulling hours. Ultimately, we want to reduce and get you a policy as cost effective as possible and within your budget. And if you said, Eric, I only have X amount to spend and it's a little bit over that, we can get creative. All right, here's a grid. Sometimes folks say, Eric, can you show me the 5-year historical data at my at my location? Sure. So this is just around the corner here at TPC at Ponte Vedra years ago. You could see that, again, this is in the summer in July. So you could see how it rains more in the afternoon than it does in the morning. This is based off of historical probability and statistical analysis, where you could see in the morning time, the policies are going to be cheaper because it rains less. It's going to be more expensive in the afternoon because it rains more. I think we all understand that. Okay, another myth that rain insurance is too expensive. In reality, our team, we're always working to create a policy that fits your needs and budget. We always say, if you only have a certain amount and it doesn't protect 100% of your event expected revenue, buy a policy, where you can afford, say, 50% coverage. Just don't go unhedged. I can't tell you how many phone calls I get back saying, Eric, you told me to buy 50%. We rolled the dice and we ended up losing, and it would have only cost us a couple extra $100 to put something in place. So again, I can help you understand that looking at the premium when I get to meet everyone. Okay, pricing, all the factors: geographic location, seasonality. Down here in Florida, it doesn't rain as much in the wintertime as it does in the summertime. Time of day, I was just talking about that. The longer the hours, the more expensive, and then the amount insured, et cetera. So everybody on this call is going to have a policy or a tournament that requires a different kind of need, and I'm going to work with you to show you how we can create something that fits your specific event. Okay, so here's a grid. Here's a pricing example for our tournament down at PGA National in Palm Beach Gardens. Again, look at the date. This is February, 10 to 3, 5-hour window on 10,000 of limit. 1/5 of an inch at the threshold there in column in option A. The cost to protect $10,000 was $420. This means that if it rains at any time between 10 and 3, whether it's 10:01 and then 2:59, if you get a burst at 1 o'clock, or if it just drizzles all day long and equals 0.20 or higher, you're paid, and we're sending you a check quickly. Obviously, the threshold, as that increases, the premium goes down because of the probability, right? So this is our standard style insurance. Here's a version of our ladder insurance. So in February here at TPC, this was a policy covering $150,000. That was their target. The premium to protect this amount, again, in the winter, 10 to 3, was $34.71. So in this example, from 10 to 3, if it were to rain up through 0.20 and not touch 0.33, you get 10% of the 150,000, which would be 15,000. If it were to rain through 0.33 and not touch 0.5, which is another 30% of the 150,000, you get the 15,000 plus the 45,000. So the more that it rains, it totals up and you start to get paid back going through the different thresholds or layers. Okay, so here's a 3-day event. All the coverage periods were different. You can see 11 to 7, 9 to 3, 9 to 6. The threshold, they kept the same. Each day, $12,000 of protection. Cost every day on this example was independent. So it could rain the first day, be sunny the second day, rain the the third day, and you would get $24,000 if it went through 0.33 on those 2 days. Again, each day is independent. This is a multi-day event. Here's a very satisfied customer, a repeat customer for several years now. Gary bought a policy for $25,000. He bought 0.33. It was in the wintertime down here in Florida, so the premium was just less than $700 he had to pay out. He did have a rain date. Okay, I get asked that every day, Eric, we have a rain date. So maybe you buy protection for 100% or say 75% of your initial day. Because a lot of the time, if your rain date was within a few other days, there's some people that won't make it. And if your event struggles because there's, say, 30% less people there spending money, the rain insurance would trigger. And you get paid back if you had a certain percentage on one event. There's some people that say we don't need rain insurance because we have a rain date. Well, historically, there are a lot of times that people don't make the same amount because it's several days or there's dates down the path that don't work for people beyond this original date. So just consider that. So as we conclude, here's we work with several professional events, PGA sections, the NFL through PGA Magazine, all their charity events, PGA Reach, the Travelers up on the PGA Tour. They had a 6-figure payout last year. This is our 3rd year working with them. They do multi-days, multi-layered options policies with us. The Dicks, they've done their 4th year with us. They had a payout before Luke Bryan went on stage last year on the Friday night. They had a 6-figure payout. The ring came between 5 and 6, and then Luke came on. So again, you want to think about your event can go on. You can play through the rain, get paid, and still have your event. Very important to understand that. We do events for Folds of Honor. Buffalo Group does our all of our marketing, and obviously Perfect Golf Event and Josh, they're the best in the business. So yeah, here's some testimonials. And Josh, as we conclude, do you have any questions that I can help with before we let our group go? I know we've got a large group here.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Great job. I had a couple messages to me. I'll combine these questions that deal with timing. I think the crux of these questions are, when you buy the policy in advance of the event, does that affect the price, and what is the deadline to purchase?
Yeah, no, both great questions. I'm asked these questions every day, several times. We always encourage to buy the insurance in advance. Our pricing and our underwriters, the pricing goes up and it goes down. Typically, the pricing is going to go up if we have to reprice. Usually, percentage-wise, it's going to go up. But we understand that people sometimes have to wait until the end because they're raising money or trying to find fundraisers and sponsors. We get it. If I quoted something today for you, you have 45 days with that price. So the pricing will not change. If we have to reprice, it's not going to move much, but it'll probably move. Now, the drop dead day to pay is 15 days in advance of your event, and that's using our credit card portal. If you have to send a check or an ACH, it's got to be at least a week in advance of that, so we have it in hand before the 15th day. We're very strict on that. And that's so you can't cherry pick the forecast. So yeah, both good questions. So thanks, Josh.
Just one more, and I guess I would add, just because it kind of relates to this question, if you are working with Perfect Golf Event and using the Perfect Golf Event platform, and you have an Eagle, Double Eagle, or Ace software package, that does include a certain level of vortex coverage automatically. So if that doesn't make any sense to you, reach out and we'll let you know what that means. And but you may have vortex already, and I'm sure if it doesn't meet your needs, we can look at that coverage amount and make changes as needed. But I guess the question here was, what do they need to send you after the event to show that they had rain? I guess is the basis of it.
Yeah. Yep. Great question. And so basically, that's the beauty of what we provide. So we work with WeatherWorks, and the data is kept right on top of your property using several different kinds of methodology through Doppler radar, through gauges. It's very scientific. So they come right down on top of your property, whereas in the past, some insurance types they'll keep they'll look at measurements where at an airport that could be 5 or 10 miles away and you have basis risk. We don't do that. We come right down on top of your property. We send you an expiration report per hour on the hour. Okay. And if it triggers, you're paid out. As an example, Glow did a deal with me during Masters Week in Augusta at Champions Retreat. And they bought 6 days in the evening from 6 until 10 with a certain amount of coverage. And I don't know if anybody remembers, but the rain was pretty heavy on Monday. They canceled the golf, and they basically had a payout. But I showed him, and he was delighted because he had a payout. But I showed him that each hour on the hour, the recording that comes from WeatherWorks, our data analysts and our PhDs and our meteorologists look at the data, make sure that it's clean and exact. We send you an expiration report on the day showing you the hours, whether it's 0 for your day and it's a beautiful sunny day, or if there's any speck of rain, we send that to you. So you'll have that in hand after your event's over. You don't have to provide anything.
Okay, I think we've covered what we can cover here live. Might have a few things we need to do afterwards, but everyone, just really appreciate your time and being here. Hope you learned a little something. Eric, thank you for another great presentation, and just look for our email here. Maybe 20-30 minutes, we'll get everything out so you can share it with others on your team and on your committee. And Eric, why don't you close it out here?
Yeah, Josh, thank you again, and thank you to everybody that attended today. I look forward to hearing from you. My information is here. Send me an email. I'd love to chat with you. You can text me, email me, and I can quote up some different options for your event, and we can follow up on questions that if you're uncertain about a few things. So again, talk to Josh if you need to upgrade anything within your event outside of weather insurance, and call me so I can help you on that part of it. So we look forward to hearing from you, and thanks again for attending. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks
Take
all.
care.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.